Hi, readers. My name is Dawn Hughes, and I'm the coordinator for Booktrib's book club program. I'm here today with author Gill Paul to talk about her new book, Scandalous Women, which sounds absolutely intriguing and is about two authors I absolutely have read in the past. Jill's book is one of the selections available in Booktrib's book club program for September. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk to us today, Jill.
Hi, Dawn. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really, really excited that you've chosen Scandalous Women. Yay.
The book sounds so intriguing, and I definitely don't want to give any spoilers, but what can you share about it that we wouldn't find on the jacket cover?
Aha. Well, it's about Jacqueline Suzanne and Jackie Collins launching their first novels in the misogynist atmosphere of 1960s publishing. But I wanted to show that from behind the scenes, from within a publisher. So I invented a character called Nancy, who's probably the most autobiographical character I've ever written, because that's not on the cover, because Nancy gets a job in publishing straight out of college. She has to move to the big city, just as I did. I moved from Scotland down to London. She feels a total imposter in this new job, just waiting for people to find out that she's useless and can't do anything. And also, just like me, she encountered a lot of sexism at work, patronizing bosses with touchy-feely hands and authors who thought it was part of my job description to sleep with them. So I put a lot of myself and my own experiences into Nancy, and yeah, just to highlight what it used to be like in those days.
Wow, that sounds like it actually, well, first off, it's relevant because we're still seeing some of that in other industries,
Sure.
maybe in publishing as well, but definitely in other industries. And so that kind of dovetails into my question of there's certainly some themes there, but why would this make such a great book club selection?
Hope it's a really fun read, but it also touches on deeper themes, the same way as the Jacqueline Suzanne and Jackie Collins novels do. So I've got drug addiction, prostitution, neurodiversity. Jacqueline Suzanne's son had severe autism, mental health issues, as
Wow.
well as the misogyny that we talked about. So there's a lot to be discussed there. I'd also be really interested for your book clubs to ask if any of them have read Jackie Collins or Jacqueline Suzanne novels and when they read them and what they thought. Because for me, I discovered them when I was a teenager, and I used to sneak my dad's copies of Jackie Collins novels and flick through looking for the naughty bits. And
Yeah.
they say that a whole generation of schoolgirls got their sex education from Jackie Collins, a fact that I'm sure she would be very proud of.
I imagine she would be. I know for me, for sure, we had talked about it just briefly before, but Rockstar by Jackie Collins was my gateway
Yeah.
to her books, and I love that. And I had forgotten about Jacqueline's books until you mentioned Valley of the Dolls.
Yeah.
So I definitely read that, although I'm much more familiar with, yeah, Jackie Collins. So
Yeah, they called her the raunchy moralist. So, there's sex in there, but nobody's hurt. The women get on the top in her novels. At work, they have careers. They get on top in the boardroom and in the bedroom, as she used to say.
yeah, yes, of course. I was reading a little bit about your backlist of books, and it seems like this is kind of your thing. You dig into like I don't want to just say they're all scandalous women, but women from the past who've made a mark on history.
Yeah, and especially ones who I think have been misjudged in some way or not given due credit. So, I've written about Jackie Kennedy and Maria Callas, because I felt Maria Callas, the opera singer, they both had a rivalry over Onassis. But Maria's always portrayed as this really difficult diva prima donna type, whereas in fact she was intensely professional. She was the greatest first soprano in the world. And she insisted on orchestras rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing until they were note perfect. And for that, she was called all kinds of names in the press. And whereas if a man had done that, he'd just be looked on as a true professional. So things like that really annoy me, and I have to write about these women.
Well, we're very glad that you do. And of course, we want to read all of your books, but you sound very well read. So I'm curious, what was the best book, fiction or nonfiction, that you've read in the last few months, and why? Should I add it to
Oh
my?
my goodness, Dawn, that is just such a hard question. Kristen Hanna's The Women is extraordinary. I do recommend it, but I think the one I would have to pick is an older one, Geraldine Brooks' Horse, because I discovered Geraldine Brooks rather late. And I loved Horse so much, I've gone back and read everything she's ever written. It's about a very, very dignified Black man called Jarrett, who's a slave just before the Civil War. He's a groom to this extraordinary racehorse called Lexington. And every time Lexington is sold, Jarrett is sold as well. So you get chapters, the chapter names Warfield's Jarrett and Alexander's Jarrett. It's kind of jarring because it means that Jarrett is owned by somebody else now. There's two other timelines in it, in the 1950s and the present day, and it's looking at racism through the decades and century, but really at the core of it is this beautiful bond between a very dignified, very special man and this extraordinary racehorse. And it's a weepy, but I would recommend it to anyone. I think Geraldine Brooks is a stunning writer.
I love that recommendation. Thank you. I will definitely follow up with that. I do feel like you and I could talk about books, especially your books, all day long, but I
I
did
could.
promise readers 5 minutes, so I will wrap it up here. But thank you so much for your time and happy publication day. We're talking to you on
We
publication.
are. Thank you, thank you. And I really, really hope that Booktrib readers enjoy Scandalous Women.
I have confidence they will. For more information about Jill's book, please check out the book club page on the booktrib.com website. Thank you.